Ryan was just a quiet engineer from Earth. He wasn't a soldier, not a fighter, and definitely not a hero. His job was to fix small transport ships on a supply station near the edge of galactic space. He liked machines more than people and stayed away from trouble. But one day, trouble found him. The station had received a strange alien pod drifting in space. It was old and covered in markings no one could read. Ryan's supervisor asked him to check it out, thinking it might be salvageable. Ryan agreed. Curious about its design, he entered the pod carefully, touching buttons and scanning the insides. Then something clicked. The pod suddenly lit up. Loud alien symbols flashed across the screen, and the floor vibrated. Before he could escape, a beam of energy surrounded him. He shouted, but no one heard. In a flash, the pod launched into space with Ryan still inside. He blacked out. When he woke up, he was on a strange battlefield. Red skies hung above, and the ground cracked with glowing lines. Metal walls circled the huge arena. Thousands of alien faces looked down from high stands, cheering, shouting in different languages. A booming voice echoed, "New challenger accepted. Human male. No weapons registered." Ryan sat up, confused. What? No. Wait, I didn't agree to this. But no one listened. Massive screens showed his face, his name, and beside it the title, The Galactic Deathmatch. He had heard of it before. It was a brutal event where alien warriors from across the galaxy fought to the death to win glory. Power, and even royal favor, was not a place for humans, especially not someone like him. On the highest throne above the arena sat a tall, alien woman with silver-blue skin and golden eyes. She wore a crown made of crystal and armor lined with strange patterns. Her name was Queen Zarela of the Arcanus Empire. She was feared, respected, and known for judging every match personally. She narrowed her eyes at the human below, and unarmed. Human? This must be a joke, the crowd laughed. Some threw things, others yelled insults. They expected him to be crushed in seconds. A gate opened on the far side. A giant alien with 4 arms stepped out. He was covered in spikes and held 2 blades that dripped with poison. He grinned when he saw Ryan. Little quotes, little human, the alien growled. I'll make this quick. Ryan's heart raced. He had no weapons, no armor, and no training. His knees shook, and he tried to find an exit. But there was none. The announcer roared. First match begins. Fight. The alien charged at him. Ryan didn't think. He just moved. He dove to the side, barely missing the blade. The alien spun and slashed again. Ryan ducked, rolled, and scrambled away. Stop running, the alien shouted, annoyed. Why would I stop? Ryan said, gasping. You're trying to stab me. The crowd laughed again, but this time it was different. Weren't laughing at him. They were amused by him. The alien tried another attack, but Ryan dodged it clumsily, falling flat on his back. The crowd laughed harder. Then Ryan raised a hand and shouted, Wait! The alien paused, confused. What? Can't we talk? About this, Ryan said. What do you even get if you win? Do they pay you well? Do you get dental? The alien blinked. What's dental? Exactly, Ryan said. This place probably doesn't even have decent food. I'm starving. The alien tilted his head, looked up at the queen. Can I just leave? Human is weird. Queen Zarela raised one eyebrow. No. If you forfeit, you lose your honor. The alien sighed and threw his blades down. Fine, he wins. The arena went silent. What? Someone said he didn't even touch him. How did he win? Queen Zarela stood up slowly. Her voice rang out, calm but sharp. Bring the human to me. Guards came down and led Ryan through a glowing bridge that rose from the arena floor. To the queen's platform, he stood before her, still breathing hard, clothes dirty and ripped. She looked at him closely. Who are you? She asked Ryan. I'm just a guy. I fix ships. Why did you come here? I didn't mean to. The pod brought me here. I thought it was scrap. She studied him in silence, then turned to the crowd. This human just won without weapons, without armor, and without striking a single blow. What do we make of that? The crowd murmured. Some were angry. Some were impressed. I didn't win anything, Ryan said quietly. I just didn't. Want to die? Queen Zarella looked at him again, but this time, there was a flicker of something in her eyes' curiosity. You are not like the others who fight here, she said. And yet you stood in the arena with no fear. Oh, I was very afraid, Ryan replied. Still am, actually. She smirked, the first time her face softened. We'll see how far you go, unarmed human. The crowd roared. The match was over, but the story was just beginning. The next morning, Ryan woke up in a strange room. The bed was soft, the walls were smooth and glowing, and alien symbols floated in the air. For a few seconds, he thought he was dreaming. Then he sat up and remembered he had survived the galactic deathmatch without lifting a finger. He rubbed his eyes and looked around. The door slid open, and a tall alien guard stepped inside. The guard didn't speak, but motioned for Ryan to follow. Great, Ryan muttered, standing up slowly. What now? Breakfast or execution? They walked through grand halls with polished floors and statues of alien warriors. Ryan kept his head down, hoping no one would recognize him.
Ow.
But everywhere he passed, aliens stared at him. Some laughed. Others looked surprised. Few even bowed, confused and unsure. The guard stopped at a large door. It opened with a soft hum, and Queen Zarella stood inside, dressed in silver robes. Her crown still glowed, but her armor was gone. She looked more like a person than a warrior now. Sit, she said, pointing to a chair across from her. Ryan obeyed, trying not to look nervous. Tea, she asked, holding up a strange pot.
Sure. Thanks.
She poured the drink into a small cup and handed it to him. Ryan took a cautious sip. It tasted like warm honey with a hint of mint. What am I doing here? He asked finally. You won your first match, she said. It is tradition to meet the victor. I didn't really win, he said. The guy just gave up. Forfeited, she corrected. You are still alive. That counts. Look, Your Highness, Ryan said. I'm not a fighter. I don't belong here. I'm just an engineer. And yet you stood in the arena, she said. You faced death with words, not weapons. That's rare. He looked down. Still am. Fear is normal, she said softly. So is courage. There was a pause. Then she asked, Do you know why this event exists? Ryan shook his head. Long ago, she began, our galaxy was divided by war. Every species believed they were the strongest. To stop the endless fighting, the death match was created. One champion from each world would prove their worth. Became a test not just of strength, but of heart. I passed with sarcasm. Ryan joked. The Queen chuckled quietly. Perhaps a beep echoed through the room. Screen showed a new name flashing in red. Another challenger had entered the match and had specifically chosen Ryan. Double quotes, no, Ryan said, standing. I can't do this again, you must, Zarella said. To refuse a direct challenge is to lose by shame.
Ow.
The arena will not allow it. But I don't have anything. No armor. No plan. You have something, she interrupted. You have the crowd. And now, you have me watching. Those words felt heavy. It's not threatening, but important. An hour later, Ryan stood back in the arena. The cheers were louder this time. He wasn't just the human, not they called him the talker. Some shouted his name. Others held signs with terrible drawings of him dodging blades. The gates opened again. This time, his opponent was faster. An insect-like alien with 4 legs and a long tail. It moved quick, clicking and hissing. Ryan's throat went dry. Match start. The voice boomed. The alien rushed at him, spinning low. Ryan jumped back just in time, nearly falling. Okay, he said, backing away. We don't have to do this? You look awesome. Strong. Great legs, by the way. The alien paused. Do you even know why you challenged me? Ryan asked, panting. Was it fame? Pride? Boredom? You insulted the match, the alien clicked. You made it a joke. No, I survived it, Ryan said, louder.
Ow.
Without killing, without blood. Isn't that better? The insect hissed, confused. This isn't a war, Ryan said. This is just a show. You don't have to fight me to prove anything. Already strong. You walked into this arena. That means something. The insect froze. Then slowly, it dropped its tail to the ground and backed away. The crowd was dead silent. The announcer didn't speak. Ryan stood still, breathing hard. Was this another win? Suddenly, Queen Zarella appeared on the screen above. He has won again, she said. Not by force, but by reason. The crowd cheered. Louder than before? Guards escorted Ryan back to the Queen's chamber. He was dizzy, shaking, but alive. Zedela waited for him, arms crossed. Twice, she said, staring. You have done the impossible twice. Ryan collapsed into the chair. Can I go home now? She didn't answer right away. Then she walked. Closer, looking down at him. I once believed power was shown through battle, she said. But now I wonder. Maybe the strongest ones are those who stop battles before they begin. He looked up at her, confused. Rest now, human, she said. You will need your strength. The galaxy is watching you. As Ryan laid down later, eyes closing slowly, he whispered, I really need a vacation. But deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning. Ryan sat near a wide window in the Queen's palace, staring at the stars. His second match had ended, and somehow he was still alive. He had no idea how much longer he could keep doing this. Everyone thought he had a plan, some kind of secret strategy, but the truth was simple. He was just trying not to die. A soft beep came from the wall behind him. The door opened, and Queen Zarella stepped in, this time without guards. She wore a long cloak instead of armor, and her expression was calm. You haven't eaten, she said. Ryan looked down. A tray of strange alien food sat untouched beside him. I'm not really hungry, he said. You've done something unusual, she said, stepping closer. You've won hearts. Ryan gave a small laugh. That's funny. I used to be invisible back home. Zarella raised an eyebrow. Not anymore. The arena wants you back, and so do my people. I don't get it, Ryan said, turning toward her. I haven't fought anyone. I haven't shed blood, yet they cheer for me. Because you're different, she said. I've seen strengths 1,000 times, but never courage like yours. He didn't answer right away. Outside. The stars blinked quietly. Zarella sat beside him. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she asked, Do you know what the next challenge is? Ryan shook his head. Me, she said simply. He blinked. Right. Wait. In our culture, she explained, the Queen must test all new champions, not with weapons, but with truth. Truth? Ryan asked. You will enter the arena. With me, she said, and we will speak before the people. No lies, no tricks. Just your mind against mine. So, a conversation, Ryan asked. Yes, she nodded, but one that could change everything. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, the arena was packed. Every seat was full. Banners waved. Alien reporters buzzed around, taking images and sending updates across the galaxy. Ryan stood in the center, wearing simple clothes. Queen. Zarella entered from the opposite side, dressed in her formal robes. No armor, no crown, just her true self. The crowd hushed. The announcer spoke. Today's challenge? Words, Zarella began. Human, why are you here? Ryan took a deep breath. Because of a mistake. But now, I want to make it mean something. She nodded.
Act.
What do humans want from the galaxy? Not war. He said, not control, just a place to belong. Are you afraid? Yes, he said, without hesitation. But I'm still here. The crowd listened closely. No one moved. No one spoke. What do you believe in? She asked. Ryan thought. For a moment, hope, kindness, that people can change. She paused as if considering that deeply. Then she asked, if given power. What would you do? I'd share it, he answered. 'Cause power alone doesn't make you great. How you use it does. Some in the crowd gasped. Others nodded slowly. Zella stepped closer. "Psh, you speak like a ruler." "I'm not one," he said quickly. "Not yet," she replied. There was a long silence. Then Zarella turned to the crowd. "I have tested this human, and he has not failed." The crowd exploded in cheers, but what happened next silenced them again. Zaylor turned back to Ryan, stepped closer, and held out her hand. "Ryan of Earth," she said, "you have done what no other has. You've united hearts without violence. And now, I offer you something greater than a crown or a title." He stared at her, confused. What? What are you offering?" "A bond," she said softly. "A union, not of war, but of peace." The arena froze. Ryan whispered, "You mean marriage?" she said, her voice clear. "Not for show, not for politics, but because I believe the galaxy needs something new, and you are that change." Ryan's heart pounded. He never expected this. He had no power, no riches, no special strength. But here she was, the queen, foring her hand. He looked at her. Eyes, they weren't cold. They weren't distant. They were honest. "Yes," he said finally. The crowd erupted. Some cheered wildly. Others stood in shock. The galaxy, watching from every corner, had just witnessed something no one expected. A human, once a mistake in the arena, was now about to become royal later. In a quiet chamber, Zarella and Ryan stood alone. "Are you sure about this?" Asked. "I am," she said. "The galaxy's full of old paths. I want a new one. With you, I don't even know how to be royal, and we'll learn together," she said. As they looked out at the stars again, hand in hand, neither of them knew what trials would come next, but they were ready. Ryan couldn't believe what his life had become. Just a few days ago, he was fixing broken wires in a dusty corner of a space station. Now he stood beside Queen Zarella, wearing royal robes. As thousands of aliens bowed before him, it felt like a dream he hadn't asked for. Since their public bond announcement, everything had changed. News of their union spread across the galaxy in minutes. Some celebrated the peace it might bring. Others called it madness. A few leaders even called it a trick, saying the queen had lost her mind. But Zarella didn't care. She stood strong and calm, always at Ryan's side. Ryan, on the other hand, was trying to keep up. Every moment brought something new: meetings, greetings, alien foods, and languages he couldn't understand. They gave him a royal translator chip, but even then, the customs were strange. He tried to smile when he could, tried to bow at the right time. Most of all, tried not to mess things up. One morning, Zarella called him to the royal chamber. She stood near a large map of the galaxy, her expression serious. "What's wrong?" Ryan asked. "Some worlds are unhappy with our union," she said. "They believe I've grown weak, that you've changed me, have you?" he asked, half joking. "Maybe," she said with a small smile. "But not in a bad way, so what now?" "What?" he asked. "They have sent a challenge," she said. "Not to fight you. Not to fight me, but to test us both." "Test us how?" She looked at him. "A diplomatic mission. We are to visit a world that has always hated my empire. If we can convince them to join the peace circle, it will prove our strength." Ryan took a deep breath. "So, no arena, just talking." Zarella nodded, "But their words will be sharper than any blade." The next day they left in a royal ship shaped like a crescent moon. Ryan stared out the window as stars blurred past. He felt nervous, but also ready. Somehow, being with Zarella gave him a kind of quiet strength. They arrived at the planet Veruin. It was dark, cold, with gray skies and black oceans. The rulers of Veruin met them with long faces and tight lips. Their leader, Lord Keln, was tall, with glowing red eyes and a voice like wind through broken glass. "Why have you come?" Keln asked sharply. "To bring peace," Zarella said calmly. "And to show unity. Unity with a human," Keln scoffed. "This one has never known battle." "He is one without it," she replied. Keln's eyes narrowed. "Then let him speak." Ryan stepped forward slowly. He could feel all eyes on him. "I know I'm not what you expected," he began. "I'm not strong like your warriors. I don't come from a great house. But I've seen what war leaves behind. I know what peace can build. Easy words, Keln said. But we remember your Earth wars. Yes, Ryan nodded. We've made mistakes, big ones. But we've also learned. If we can change, maybe others can too. The room was silent. Some looked surprised. Others looked thoughtful. Sarah stepped forward beside him. We do not offer control, she said. Only a choice. A new path. Keln stared at them both. Then he turned away. We will decide by nightfall, he said. As the sun set, Ryan and Zarella waited in a small chamber. She poured him some tea and sat close. You did well, she said softly. I just told the truth, Ryan replied. Sometimes, she said, that is harder than any battle. A guard entered quietly. The council has reached a decision, he said. They returned to the hall. Keln stood before his people. We have watched the human. We have listened. And though we do not trust easily, we see no danger in words. We will join your peace circle for now. The room filled with quiet gasps. Gara gave a small nod. We thank you. After the meeting, as the ship left for Ruin, Ryan looked at her and said, That was harder than the arena. You were never meant to fight with weapons, she said. Your strength is in something deeper. He looked out at the stars. Do you really think this will work? All of it. The peace, the union, everything? She took his hand. I don't know, but I believe in you. Those words meant more than anything he had ever heard. As they flew back toward her empire, messages poured in from other worlds, some praising, some warning, some demanding answers. The galaxy was waking up. Something had changed. And it had all started with a human who didn't even bring a weapon. After the peace mission to Varun, Ryan began to feel the weight of his new life. He had gone from a quiet human engineer to the center of the galaxy's attention. Every word he spoke mattered. Every step he took was watched by rulers, soldiers, and people across the stars. In the palace, things changed too. Guards now followed him everywhere. New robes were made for him. Alien advisors came daily, each with questions, requests, or warnings. He tried to listen, to understand. But sometimes it all felt too much. Queen Zarella stayed calm through it all. She moved with purpose, always sure, always graceful. But even she could not ignore what was coming. There are whispers, she told Ryan one night. They sat together on a high balcony, watching the twin moons rise. I have become weak. They think our peace is a trick. So they'll attack. Ryan asked. Not directly, she said. They will send someone to challenge the heart of our alliance. Ryan looked at her. Me? She nodded. They will test your place beside me. Just as she said, a message came from a far system. Ruled by the Merkin Ordra, proud warrior race, known for their skill in battle and their dislike for outsiders. They sent a single word, challenge. But this time, the match would not take place in the arena. It would happen in the Circle of Fire, a sacred ground where words, honor, and history were tested by flame, heat, and memory. It was not about strength, it was about truth. Ryan had never heard of it.
Yeah.
But Zarella explained everything. You must stand alone in the center, she said. Elders from many worlds will ask you questions. They will try to break your spirit. You cannot lie, and you cannot step away. If you endure, you are accepted. If not, you are rejected, damned. I lose my right to call you consort. Painful, he said. Only if you hide your heart, she replied. The day came fast. They landed on a burning planet covered in red sand and sharp rocks. The sky was orange, the air dry and heavy. A circle of fire had already been lit at the center of a rocky valley. Thousands of aliens sat in silence around it, forming a ring of witnesses. Ryan stood alone inside the circle. Sweat rolled down his face. Flames danced around him, close but not burning. He felt the heat press against his skin. The first elder, an old creature with a stone face, stepped forward. Why do you believe a human deserves the Queen of the Arcanus? I answered. I never said I deserve her. She chose me. I chose her. Not because of power, but because we saw something in each other. The flames shifted. Another elder asked, What have you given to this galaxy? A chance, Ryan said. To stop fighting, to listen, even for a moment. Are you afraid now? A third voice asked. Yes, Ryan said, but fear doesn't stop me. The fire grew stronger. Sweat poured down his back. His legs shook. But he stayed still. Then a final question came, from a voice deeper and colder than the rest. Would you give your life to protect her? Ryan didn't blink. Yes. The flame shot high, then vanished. Silence fell. The elders turned and walked away. No cheers, no sounds. Just quiet. Zarela stepped into the circle and walked straight to Ryan. She looked at him closely, then took his hand. You stood through fire, she whispered. I thought I might fall, he said. You didn't, she replied. The crowd around them finally made a sound, a slow rising chant. Not just her name. Not just his. Both Zeta, Ryan, Zarela, Ryan. It echoed across the valley, through the rocks, to the sky. They had passed the test. When they returned to the palace, celebrations began. Food, lights, music, and color filled every hall. Leaders from different worlds sent messages of respect. Even former enemies gave cautious nods, but not everyone was happy. In the shadows of a distant moon, a ship waited. Inside it, cloaked in darkness, sat a figure who had watched everything unfold with cold eyes. The human must fall, the voice said. He's changing everything. And with that, a plan began to form. Back on the palace grounds, Ryan didn't know about the danger. He walked quietly through the gardens with Zarela by his side. Do you ever think we've done enough? He asked. She stopped to touch a small glowing flower. Not yet, she said. He smiled. Then let's keep going. Hand in hand, they continued forward. Not as ruler and consort, not as symbols, but as to people who believed in something better. The palace was quiet that morning. Birds with silver wings flew across the sky. The garden lights blinked gently as soft wind moved through the trees. Ryan stood near the edge of the royal balcony, holding a warm cup of alien tea. He had learned to like the taste something strange that now felt familiar. Queen Zarela joined him, wearing a long cloak with golden edges. Her eyes were calm, but there was something in her expression that Ryan didn't miss. What's wrong? He asked softly. Our sensors picked up an unknown ship, she said. It was close to the palace for too long. Another test, Ryan asked. Shella shook her head. Not a test, a threat. The council met quickly. Screens lit up with images of the ship. Its markings were strange, but its shape was clear, an assassin vessel. Built for silence, speed, and a single goal. We believe the Merkin Order sent. One advisor said, not all of them accepted your success in the Circle of Fire. Ryan looked around the room. Are we safe here? No place is fully safe anymore, Zarela replied. But we must not show fear. Ryan nodded. So what's the plan? Zarela looked at the screen, then back at Ryan. We finished what we started. That evening, they sent out a message to all known systems. 8 was a call for unity, a final effort to bring the galaxy together for a peace summit. Leaders of old empires, small planets, and even outlaw clans were invited. Some refused. Others sent their best diplomats. Many were unsure, but all of them watched. The summit would take place in the Royal Hall, under the twin stars. As the day arrived, ships of every shape and color landed near the palace. Alien leaders walked down long halls, their guards close. Behind, Ryan wore a simple robe with a single symbol, a circle inside a flame. The mark of his test. The room filled with whispers and doubt. Some asked, why trust a human? Others asked, why now? Zarela stood before them, tall and steady. Ryan stepped beside her. We are not asking you to forget your history, she said to the crowd. We are asking you to build a better one. Then Ryan spoke. I know I don't look like someone who belongs here. I'm not powerful. I'm not royal. I came here by accident. But sometimes accidents can open doors. He looked around the hall. I didn't fight with weapons. I didn't win with strength. I stood and spoke. I listened. And I survived. Maybe that's what peace really needs. Some aliens nodded. Others looked away. Just as Zarela stepped forward to speak again, a loud alarm sounded. Red lights flashed. A guard ran in. An intruder is in the palace. The leaders stood, alarmed. Guards pulled weapons. Chaos filled the hall. Salah raised her voice. "Stay calm." But before anyone could react further, a shadow dropped from the ceiling. Cloaked figure landed. Between Ryan and Zarela, a blade flashed, heading straight for Ryan's chest. Everything slowed. Zedla moved fast, placing herself between Ryan and the attacker. The blade struck but didn't cut. A golden shield burst to life around them. The attacker was thrown back by the energy wave and hit the wall hard. Guards moved quickly and caught him. Saral looked at Ryan, breathing hard. "You're safe." "That was too close," Ryan said, his hands shaking. The attacker was unmasked. He was from the Merkin Order, just as they feared. The leaders in the room stood still. For a moment, there was silence. Then one of them, a tall figure from the Jade World, stepped forward. They tried to kill him because he spoke peace. Another followed. "This is what fear looks like," another voice. "And this is why we must change." One by one, more leaders stood. The head of the Ashra fleet, known for years of war, said, "I was ready to walk out of this hall, but now I will stay." Zarela looked at Ryan. He didn't fall. "I had someone standing beside me," he said, that night. The summit continued. Leaders signed a new agreement. Not just a pause in wars, but a true beginning to peace. It was not perfect. It would not solve everything. It was real. As the stars rose higher, Zarela and Ryan stood on the balcony again. "You faced every test," she said, "and now the galaxy stands with you." "We stood together," he replied. She smiled. "You were never just an outsider." He looked at her, then at the stars. "So, what now?" Zarela reached out and took his hand. "Now we lead." So, the human who entered the deathmatch unarmed, who survived without fighting, who faced fire with truth and danger with heart, became more than just a symbol. He became a partner, peacemaker, and the one who changed a galaxy. Not with war, but with love, courage, and the strength to stand. The end.